What's going on YouTube? So believe it or not, this run was actually filmed last year, June, so nearly a year ago. I was debating not releasing it, but I decided why the heck not, because I'd rather not have a wasted run or wasted footage. But this run is going to be Rhyperior, and this is one of those old Sanqui runs where we don't have a back sprite, but this front sprite reminds me of, I don't know, the Guzzlord yelling. The Japanese anime cry of Guzzlord will forever be my favorite, but let's take a look at Rhyperior's stats for Gen 1 purposes. And there really isn't much to cover, we're just a better Rhydon with higher stats. The 140 attack is great, along with the 130 defense, but the 40 speed and 55 base special is going to be a problem. But the one saving grace of this run is that we start with a move in Mega Horn. This is going to help take down those pesky grass types and will prove to be useful against Misty Starmie, if we can manage to withstand a Hydro Pump, that is. Aside from being a slow Pokemon, Rhyperior is also in the slow level up group, which means we're going to have to be doing a lot of additional battles if we want to make it through this one. That includes the optional rival battle, which I usually skip in these runs just to save some time. But today for Rhyperior, I'm looking down the line at Misty, who's coming up, Erica, who's coming up, and Lorelei, who we're going to have to deal with in the league. You'll see in this rival battle that the Pidgey doesn't hit me with any sand attacks, and I have some questionable move choices early on. But the only grass move that the Bulbasaur knows is Leech Seed, which it will spam, and thanks to Gen 1 mechanics, Mega Horn is 4 times super effective against it, and that's some early, easy experience that's much needed. In Viridian Forest, I'm going to battle against all of the bug catchers, because once again, we need experience and we need it early and fast. And another key for having Mega Horn on our moveset is that it makes Brock no problem. We have an attack that does neutral damage to both the Geodude and Onix. Mega Horn is a 3-hit KO on Geodude, even though it did use 2 defense curls, and against the Onix, because it goes for Rage right away, locking itself in, I decide to set up some Tail Whips on it, and Mega Horn is able to 2-shot it. Because this run was filmed over a year ago, I don't really remember if I fought all the trainers on Route 3 here, but within Mount Moon, I fought many trainers. I fought this lass right here, this super nerd, this bug catcher, the double grass lass who, surprisingly, I one-shot both her Pokemon, this rocket grunt right here, this youngster right here, this rocket grunt, and I take the dome fossil as a prize at the end of Mount Moon. Upon entering Cerulean, the plan is to battle Rival 2, go through Nugget Bridge, and hopefully be able to take on Misty. And because I was close to leveling up here, I decided to take on the swimmer in Misty's gym. And well, that didn't end well. Not only does the horsey outspeed me, but Bubble one-shots me from full health. So what about the junior trainer right before Misty? Maybe that's a better matchup. Well, not exactly. I actually almost lose this battle because I get the worst confusion luck you'll ever see. I hit myself every single time. I probably had a bit of worry once the confusion snapped off and Goldeen went for Supersonic again because Mega Horn didn't quite one-shot it, but we also didn't level up from this battle, but I decided to take on Rival 2 anyway. We know that Pidgeotto will outspeed us, and we really don't want to see Sand Attack, which we get Whirlwind and Quick Attack. And with our accuracy intact, we have Mega Horn to take care of the Abra, the Rattata, and the Bulbasaur. And with Nugget Bridge looming, and many optional trainers after it, Rhyperior is going to be getting a serious power level. Unfortunately for me, with the Sanqui ROMs and the updated movesets, after the 5th trainer, I need to go back to the Pokemon Center to heal. While doing all of this optional training, the one thing that I need to be aware of is to have enough Mega Horn PP for the last with the 2 Oddish and Pidgey at the end of the route, along with being aware of the type matchups in the Sanqui ROM. At the end of all of this training, Rhyperior is level 21, and I decide let's take on the swimmer one more time, which this time we're able to outspeed and one-shot both the Horsey and the Shelder, and at this point I'm thinking, well, let's just see how Misty goes. Yeah, it was a terrible idea. Staryu outspeeds and Water Gun one-shots me from full health. I decide the best course of action is to head to Vermilion City. I fight every trainer on Route 6 and majority of trainers on Route 11 here. During this training, I did learn the move Rock Blast, along with teaching Dig to Rhyperior, so we'd have 2 stab moves on our moveset. Unfortunately for me, the bug trainer with the level 20 Butterfree poisoned me on the route before, and because I don't want to go to the Vermilion Pokemon Center because I want to dig back to Cerulean, I'm kind of out of options. Thankfully, past me had kind of a solution: spend all my money on super potions. And with all of this optional training, I'll definitely have money to spare. But let's go ahead and climb aboard the SS Anne. Of course, I'm going to battle the one youngster here and pick up Body Slam, and then I'm also going to battle the lass here. I do want to do a few optional battles, but I don't want to fight every trainer that the SS Anne has to offer, because that would bleed a lot of time. And remember, I am poisoned and have a limited supply of super potions. And unfortunately, poison is going to be part of my downfall against Rival 3 here. Spoiler warning. I'm speed tied with Pidgeotto, and it moves first, getting off a sand attack. Stomp can't get the one shot, and I really should have used an Ether on Rock Blast prior to this battle. Raticate is able to chip me down and get a few flinches in with Bite, as the 85% accurate Mega Horn is feeling the effects of that sand attack, while poison also begins to take its toll. By the time we knock it out, we have 33 HP remaining. Kadabra comes out, outspeeds me, confuses me with confusion, I hit myself, and poison finishes me. But that happens not once, but twice. A year ago, me was persistent as hell though in this, and you can see what happens when we come into the battle with our accuracy intact. We outspeed Pidgeotto and Rock Blast one-shots it, and from there, Rock Blast and Mega Horn are able to one-shot his entire team. Reviewing this year-old footage, a year ago me did fight 2 more trainers before exiting the SS Anne: the Sailor that guards Rest, and the Sailor that guards an Ether. The only thing we can do at this point in the run is face Misty, because we need her badge to use Cut outside of battle, and in this battle, we need some luck. We can tank a Water Gun from the Staryu and one-shot it with Rock Blast, but we really need an X-Defend or a Hydro Pump miss from Starmie, and we get the first, and Mega Horn is able to one-shot it. That's one huge obstacle down, but past me was still thinking about Erica and Lorelei. On the way to Rock Tunnel, I'm going to be picking up a lot of optional battles. We have Erica upcoming, and another problem that I didn't even address in the beginning of the video. The rival is going to have Gyarados, and we have to deal with Lance's Gyarados. There's nothing in Rock Tunnel that poses any problems, so we can go ahead and pick this up in Cerulean City, where we're going to head to the Rocket Game Corner first. I'm going to put off Erica as long as possible, because I know both Victreebel and Vileplume would outspeed me and one-shot me, so I'm going to take on Giovanni instead. And speaking of outspeeding and one-shotting, we outspeed both the Onix and the Rhyhorn and one-shot them with Dig. Against Kangaskhan, I should have just stuck the course with Dig, but I decided to switch it up and go for Mega Horn. I do miss once, but it is a 2-shot on it. After defeating Giovanni, I'm going to do some inventory management. We're going to head to the Celadon Mart to sell off some items, and I'm going to buy 4 Carbos, just to help with our speed problems later. I decide to cut through Saffron to go to Vermilion City to battle Lieutenant Surge. That way we can use Fly outside of battle and travel the map easier. As far as the battle against Surge, I do go for Dig on the Voltorb. I could have just used Stomp against it like I did with Pikachu and save a few turns in this battle, and against Raichu, Rock Blast gets a 2-shot, which is more than enough to KO it. But after defeating Surge, I'm going to head straight to Pokemon Tower. I'm not even going to save, I'm just going to walk in and battle Rival 4. And reviewing this footage from a year ago, all I can think to myself is, did past me not care about Gyarados, or think it was a threat? Well, obviously not. Rock Blast can one-shot the Pidgeotto. Out comes the Gyarados, we outspeed but I miss a Rock Blast as it just hits me with Dragon Rage, which that could have ended badly. Rock Blast does one-shot it, and from here, the battle is a gimme. Rock Blast can one-shot the Growlithe. We have any attack at our disposal for the Kadabra, and Mega Horn will one-shot Ivysaur. And watching this run, it makes me think of how to plan future runs because I do have interest in doing Golem and Rhydon eventually in Pokemon Blue. Thanks to Rhyperior's great attack stat and all of our moves being able to deal damage to ghost types, we can mow through the channelers here. But really, the big decision is, where do you go next after Pokemon Tower? Not even planning, I think I would personally go to Cycling Road and Fuchsia City next. We are part ground type, we can get some good experience off Cycling Road, and we can make quick work of Koga's Pokemon with Dig. You can also pick up Surf and Strength and then head to Cinnabar at that point where you could make quick work of Blaine. And Past Me had different plans. Looking back, I can see why I would think this, but I'm also a better player now than I was back then. But Past Me went to Silph Co. And it makes sense why I would do this. I mean, I could go straight to the 10th floor like I am here, battle the one Rocket Grunt, and I would get the Carbos, I would pick up the rare candy, and TM26 Earthquake, which I don't have room for at first, but through the power of video editing, now I do. And I wish I had some notes on this run, because now I just start picking up some optional battles within Silph, and I bet Past Me at the time thought maybe I could take on Rival Fivel. But I think Past Me is starting to realize that about this point, that's not going to happen. So I take up one more optional battle, and then I'm going to head to Cycling Road. And you're going to see me pick up more optional battles here that make sense. I mean, some of these bikers give some great experience points, I get the rare candy, and we've got Dig, Mega Horn, and Earthquake on our moveset at this point, so we can really just plow through them. And it's not like we need this experience for Koga. I'm only going to assume that Past Me was thinking about Erica, thinking about, Lorelei, thinking about the Gyarados that we're going to have to face eventually. When I arrive in Fuchsia City though, I don't even face Koga first, I go straight to the Safari Zone. And aside from picking up the gold teeth and the HM for Surf, the only other item I pick up is a protein. I'm sure some of you out there are wondering, watching this video, why I didn't buy any calcium to boost my special. Because Rhyperior, like Rhydon, can learn moves like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, all that good stuff. And well, as someone that did a meme Rhydon run about 2 years ago on the channel, I mean, our special stat sucks, and it really makes no sense to teach those types of moves, because our moveset right now takes full advantage of our 140 base attack stat, and Mega Horn can just abuse the jugglers within Koga's gym. You'll see that I pick up quite a few optional battles here as well. And speaking of Koga, he's going to feel the abuse of Earthquake, as it one-shots his entire team. At the end of this battle, we're level 42, so we're sitting pretty well. And Past Me, they make a good decision after beating Koga. Once we exit the gym, we're gonna head to Pallet Town and then surf to Cinnabar Island. Unfortunately, Past Me does make a mistake, as I try to fight some swimmers and well, I pay the price for it, because I fight one trainer with a Tentacruel, who outspeeds me, and Bubble Beam one-shots me. But let's go ahead and pick this up in Blaine's gym, where once again, Past Me is doing some optional training. And thinking back, maybe I had a level goal in mind. Maybe I had a level goal for Rival Fivel and Erica. Maybe I had a goal level for, after I beat Giovanni in Rival 6. I can say with confidence though, I could be 10 levels lower and still beat Blaine. Earthquake is able to one-shot his entire team. We've got 3 gym leaders left. One who is walled off by Silph Co, one who we could probably face now, and the other also walled off by Silph Co. So why don't we head back and face Rival Fivel, finally. And I can only assume my biggest concern back then, because, well, I'm thinking about it now, is do we outspeed the Gyarados? We can easily dispose of Pidgeot with Rock Blast, and we do outspeed Gyarados. Rock Blast is able to two-shot it, but there's still the concern of Venusaur as well. We do level up going into Growlithe, we one-shot it with Earthquake. Alakazam, we can choose any move at our disposal. It does outspeed, but Earthquake still gets the one-shot. And Venusaur, we outspeed, Mega Horn, one-shots. Perhaps I could have did this at a lower level, and when I eventually do Rhydon, I know I will. But for now, I'm going to get the Lapras because I still need a Strength user, and then we can face Giovanni. And like with Koga and Blaine, 4 Pokemon, 4 Earthquakes, 4 one-shots. We still have 3 gym leaders remaining, but one of them we're going to face now, and that's Sabrina. But before I face her, I decide to pick up some optional battles in her gym. I'm only facing the trainers that are on the path to her. And I definitely think Past Me had a level goal in mind, because after all of this optional training, when I face Sabrina, I'm level 49, and Earthquake is able to one-shot her entire team. But I can definitely see Past Me, doing this grinding because maybe I'm going to pop my rare candies right before the league. Level 49 though more than guarantees that we're going to outspeed Erica's Pokemon as well. And Erica, along with the rivals Venusaur, are the sole purpose as to why I've kept Megahorn on the moveset. It one-shots her entire team, although we are 21 levels higher than her highest Pokemon. And we might have been able to outspeed Victory Bell, maybe 10 levels lower. It does only have 50 speed compared to our 76. But again, this run was filmed a year ago, so who really knows what I was thinking back then. Anyway, we can pick this up in Giovanni's gym, and looking at this run a year later and thinking about, running a Pokemon like Rhydon or Golem or Sandslash or Marowak even, I definitely had some type of level goal in mind at the time. I mean, heck, I have a Dugtrio run that I have yet to edit, and I took quite a bit of optional battles in that one, just thinking about certain mons that I know I would have to get ranges against, or maybe get some luck here and there. Giovanni requires no type of luck though. The only thing I do in this battle is against the Dugtrio, it does outspeed, it goes for Dig, which I predict, and I go for Dig, and since I'm slower, mine actually hits. The rest of his Pokemon are all one-shot by Earthquake. And watching all of this footage a year later, I definitely know if I went back to this run, I could definitely shave off some time. Maybe a good 30 to 45 minutes even. But for now, that's all 8 gym badges down, and next up is Rival 6. And this battle goes smoothly until the final 2 Pokemon. Rock Blast and Earthquake are able to one-shot the first 4 Pokemon. Pidgeot, Rhyhorn, Gyarados, and Growlithe, they all go down easily. Now, Alakazam does outspeed, and Psychic does nearly half of my HP. We one-shot it, but Venusaur outspeeds me, and Petal Dance can easily finish me off. And even if I was at 100% HP, Petal Dance would easily 100 to 0 me. Now, the easy and quick fix that Past Me thought of was to teach Mimic, and we can mimic Agility from either the Pidgeot or the Growlithe. Remember, the movesets are different in these Sanqui ROMs. And against Growlithe, that's exactly what I do. I mimic Agility from it, it can't hit me with anything that hits me too hard, I set up 3 times, and I think, okay, this battle is ours. But not so fast. While we do outspeed Alakazam now, and Earthquake can one-shot it, Venusaur is last, and I miss Megahorn. It hits me with Petal Dance in retaliation, and once again, I take another loss. But the third time is the charm in this battle. We can make it back to the Venusaur, and when Megahorn actually hits, it one-shots it. And I definitely believe Past Me was thinking about the league and really Lorelei. Level 53, I think that's more than enough of a level to take her on, and use candies throughout the rest of the league. And I mentioned earlier, I have a Dugtrio video that I actually filmed back in March that I still have yet to edit, which I need to work on, along with a bunch of other videos on the backlog. But I follow some of the same strategies in this video that I did in the Dugtrio one, which is just picking up a lot of optional battles, especially at the end here in Victory Road. At the end of all of this training, by the time I enter Lorelei's chamber, I'm level 55, which hey, that's pretty good. That's a good target level, especially for a Pokemon like this. Let's see how Past Me did against the Elite Four. Well, Past Me kept Rock Blast to this point, which I guess, it hasn't really been doing me dirty or done bad this run. It's able to one-shot both Dugong and Cloyster. It needed that 3-hit on Cloyster. Megahorn is able to one-shot the Slowbro, but Megahorn, it doesn't even get a chance to hit Jinx, because it outspeeds me and Ice Punch crits, one-shotting me. Past Me decided to use 5 rare candies to bring myself up to level 60. The first 3 Pokemon go down in the same way as the first battle, and this time against Jinx, it still outspeeds, Ice Punch still does massive damage, but we hang on with 38 HP and Megahorn gets the one-shot. We outspeed Lapras, and Rock Blast is able to hit twice and knock it out. Next up is Bruno, and Earthquake is able to one-shot his entire team. Yes, very fitting for Bruno. Next up is Agatha, and while her ghosts do outspeed me and they're able to deal some decent damage with Shadow Punch, Shadow Ball, and even Dark Pulse, bringing me down to 58 HP at the end of this battle, all of her Pokemon are one-shots with either Earthquake or Rock Blast. Prior to the battle with Lance, I decided to use 3 rare candies. I guess past me was worried about the Gyarados, and the possibility of Sanqui Aerodactyl with what I do in this battle. I do outspeed Gyarados, and Rock Blast is able to get the one-shot, and against the first Dragonair, I'm going to mimic Agility. I want to go full setup because I want to outspeed Aerodactyl, because it does know Iron Head in these runs. The worst move Dragonair can hit me with is Dragon Rage, which does a measly 40 HP. But once I have full setup, Earthquake is able to one-shot both of the Dragonairs, and out comes that pesky Aerodactyl. I get some bad luck here because I miss Rock Blast not once, but twice, as Iron Head brings me to 66 HP. I finally hit my third one-shotting it, and all that's left is Dragonite. It doesn't have anything that it can do big damage to me with, and Rock Blast makes quick work of it. Before the champion battle, past me decided to pop my final 3 rare candies. And watching back this champion battle, it's a great strategy, but some crappy luck. Pidgeot opens with Sky Attack, as I mimic Agility. As I said, movesets are different in this game. I can fully set up here, and it's going to take care of the problem of outspeeding Venusaur later on. Rock Blast and Earthquake are able to one-shot Pidgeot, Alakazam, and Rhydon. But against Gyarados, I miss, Hydro Pump hits, crits, and 100 to zeros me. I make it back to the champion on my next attempt and follow the same rare candy usage. Once again, I mimic Agility, and I'm going to go full setup and try to go on the sweep again. This time I have Rock Slide, which one-shots Pidgeot, and Earthquake one-shots Alakazam and Rhydon. This time, Rock Slide doesn't miss, and it's able to one-shot Gyarados. Next up is the Arcanine, and we have Earthquake for it, and we have made it to the Venusaur for the first time. But my heart sank a little bit here. I go for Mega Horn, and I miss. But thankfully, Venusaur takes in Sunlight, and I have another chance. Mega Horn hits this time, and that's the run. And would you believe me if I told you that I actually did this run before I did the Reggies, before I did Slacking, before I did Crocodile, before I did Hydreigon, and a bunch of other runs that I have on the channel. And I really was just going to delete this footage, but I'm kind of glad that I got this edit all together and put it out for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I know a lot of people don't like Rhyperior for its design, but you know, I like it. It's one of my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon, and I actually have one in my party on my Brilliant Diamond file, which I still have yet to beat that game. But as for Rhyperior's final time, it finishes at level 68 with a final in-game time of 4 hours and 13 minutes. And I haven't edited my tier list in months because I've been doing X and Y solo runs, and funny enough, the last time I edited my tier list was when I added Dugtrio to the results. But let's pull up this Sanqui only tier list. And Rhyperior is going to find itself atop of the C tier, beating out Hitmontop from over a year ago as well. Anyways, I hope you guys liked the video, and I'm glad I got around to editing this one and didn't just delete the footage. I have a backlog of videos that I need to edit. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, we've got Dugtrio, we've got Poliwrath, we've got Starmie, we've got a bunch of other Pokemon, and of course I'm still working on those X and Y solo runs. I'll catch you all in my next one though. Take care, everybody.